So that's 1985, I think,
No,
still.
that was 1983
Oh,
because
1983. Okay.
yeah, because Star Search came along in the fall of '83, but it didn't air until it was a delay. It didn't air till like either the end of the year or the beginning of '84.
How did that so those of you who may not know what Star Search is, unless you're 35 or older, you may have no idea. It was a talent show hosted by Ed McMahon, and it was wildly popular when I was a kid.
Well, we
And
tease everybody and say we were the original American Idols. You know,
right, exactly. It was like American Idol back in the day.
yeah.
How did that opportunity come to be? And what was that experience like for you guys?
So so we didn't. There was a club in California that was a really popular club that was interested in us, but they wouldn't hire us unless they could see us in a videotape. They'd heard about us, so they wanted us to make a videotape. So we were being booked by Buddy Lee Attractions, but we were actually being booked by two interns at Buddy Lee Attractions.
Wow.
So because we were just a club band.
High on the pecking order there, huh?
Yeah. So Rick Ship, who was one of the interns, who later on went on to be a really big agent for William Morris. Rick called and said, "Hey, there's an outfit coming to town, and they'll videotape you guys, and they'll let you have the videotape to send out to California." I said, "Great." He said, "Be at this studio, tomorrow." I remember it being on a Friday. So we went over to the studio, and outside it had Star Search auditions. So we go in. So the guy's telling me about the show. Now the show had not aired yet, so it was the first season. So it was like we didn't know anything about the show. So as he's telling me, all I'm wanting in my mind is, are we going to be able to get this videotape to send out to California? So he said, "You guys are going to do two songs." He says, "We're going to videotape it." And I immediately stopped him and said, "And we're going to be able to get that videotape." He said, "Yeah," but he said, "Now we got to send it to New York over the weekend." And he said they want to see everything that we're taping down here. And he said, "This is Star Search is a TV show." He said, "It's 26 episodes." He says, "We booked 20 episodes. We're looking for the last 4 or 5 episodes." He said, "We have recorded 4 shows already." But he said, we've already got everybody booked up into those last 4 shows. This means nothing to me, right? I
You
just
just
want
want
the
the
video.
tape, bro.
I just want the tape. I said, "Okay, that's great. That's great." So we did 2 songs. I think we did "Smoking in the Rockies," which was we also did on actually on the show, and I think we did "Leona," which was our first
Hmm.
single.
Yep.
So 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 we did it, we finished. So I get a call on Monday thinking we're getting the videotape. Now this was back before cell phones. And so I get a call from Rick Ship. And Rick said, "Hey, the Star Search people are going to call you." He says they wouldn't tell me what's going on because I'm officially not your agent. So he said they're gonna he said, "Sit by the phone, they're gonna call you in the next 10 minutes." So I'm in my apartment and I'm sitting there. So the guy calls and he says, "Hey, here's the deal." He says, "You guys made the show," but he said, "This is what I'm up against." He says, they had moved you in front of everyone. They want you on the next show, which was show number 6. And I said, "Okay, what does that look like?" He said, "That we want you guys on an airplane tomorrow morning flying to LA."
Wow.
I said, "Man," I said, "I got to be real honest with you." I said, "Man, we don't have the kind of money to fly out there." And he goes, "Oh, we're going to fly you." I said, "Okay." I said, "We've never been to LA. I said, man, I just got to be straight up with you. I said, we don't have money for hotel rooms, for food, anything. He goes, he says to me, buddy, my job is to get you to LA.
Get
He
whatever it
said,
takes.
he said, you don't have to worry about a thing. Everything will be taken care of. You just need to tell me that you and the boys will be on the plane tomorrow morning. And he said, here's the flight number. And he said, we bought the tickets. We're gonna fax you the vouchers, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So now you have to understand, now I've got to go find the guys because it's Monday. That's usually our only day off. And we're usually traveling Monday night somewhere to Corinth, Mississippi, or somewhere to do a show. And so I had to call Rick Ship back, and he said, well, I'll cancel this week. And he said, you guys need to go. So I had to literally drive all over town to find the guys because we didn't have cell phones. You know, one guy was at the doctor, and one guy was here, one guy was at the dry cleaners. So I had to go find the guys and say, guys, we're going to LA tomorrow.
What was there? 6 of you?
5 of us.
5 of you. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to find 4 guys.
Yeah. So it was literally, I remember it was like you see on TV where all of a sudden, boom, the thing changes and you're on the airplane and we're on the airplane. And in my head, the theme to the Beverly Hillbillies is playing in my head as we're on the plane, right? So we land, and there's a guy that has Sawyer Brown with a limo there to pick us up, and we are freaking out, man. So we're going up Sunset Boulevard, and we get to the Hyatt Hotel, and we know from Led Zeppelin, this is the place, the Rock and Riot Hyatt, and that's where we're staying. Now we're doubly freaking out. So we get there, and the guy comes up and briefs us, and he says, you guys, we want you guys to just relax. He says, tomorrow morning we're going to go for a blocking rehearsal. We don't know what blocking means. So, and he said, and then we'll do a blocking rehearsal, and then that was a Tuesday. The blocking rehearsals on Wednesday, he says, and we're taping on Thursday. So we get there the next morning, and he said, and we're watching all the other acts, and the director is coming over, making notes, talking to him, and everybody did whatever they were doing, they did at one time. So it comes our time. So we do our song. And he said, hey guys, would you take a couple minutes, and I want you to come back and do it again. So we're the only one that he asked to do that. So I'm like thinking they don't like us. So I go over to him on the break, and I said, hey, listen, man, I said, we've come a long way. I said, I've got 100 songs. If you don't like that song, we'll play a song. I said, at this point, man, we came all this way. Just let us be on the show. And he looked at me and he said, no. He says, I want you to do exactly that same song and do exactly what you just did. He said, I just need some people to see this. So they bring 3 people in suits. It was a lady and 2 men, and they were all dressed up, and they just stood there, and we did our song. Now, this is how stupid you feel. You're in a dance thing with all the mirrors, and you're sitting there mimicking what you're going to do. And you're just doing it to a cassette tape. So you feel even double stupid, right? So they just looked at us. They looked at each other, kind of nodded, and they turned and walked off. So the next day is the taping of the show. So man, I'm so nervous because I mean I still haven't really, it hasn't clicked in my head, that I'm doing this. And I'm literally in the bathroom throwing up. And I'm like going, Lord, I don't know if I can do this. And man, so we go out and we hit the stage and we play. We win. And we're like sitting there going, everybody's like going crazy and stuff. So we go back to the dressing room and we win, and we're sitting in there and everybody's just, we kind of really don't know what to do because we really don't know anything about the show. So our runner, who was the guy that I talked to on the phone the first time, he comes in and he's excited. He's like, man, he says, okay, he says, we're taping another taping on Saturday, and he said we need another song. So we're just kind of looking around and at each other, and he goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "Man," I said,
"We don't have another
"We don't."
song."
I said, "We don't have any clothes."
Oh
And
yeah.
I said, "We thought we were just coming out to do this show." And I said, "And they want you to pre-record the song." Now I sang live, but we recorded the music. And I said, "We only brought one song." He said, "Okay, okay." And then he gets real nervous. He goes, "Okay." So he goes out and he comes back and he's got 5 vouchers. He says, "We got you guys booked on a red eye to go home." He said, "We're going to send you home." And because I told him I could get in the studio the next day. So he said, "I want you to go home." And he pulled me aside and he says, "They told me to tell you to bring back a lot of clothes."
What?
I said,
You're
"Okay."
gonna be here a while.
Yeah. So 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 we kept winning, and we were actually out there for 6.5 months. We kept winning every week, and we ended up winning the whole show for the whole season. And and that that put us in front of so many people that that's when all of a sudden Nashville started to notice us.